Hey, what's going on, cash flow hackers? Welcome to video 1 of the Financial Efficiency Masterclass. Now, here's the deal. We are going to get into this. One of the things, if you've watched me on my content before, you know that my wife has been in recovery since 2009. She became clean and sober in 2009 from substances, behaviors, all these things that come into addiction. And that's a work in progress. She's always attending meetings and doing her process, right? Like, that's a big priority in our life. That said, I will say this, is that one of the things that I've learned from her and going through that process is that the first step is identifying or admitting that you have a problem. And so when it comes to our money, the first step is to admitting that we have a problem, or acknowledging and being able to identify that that problem exists and being able to really get clarity on what that problem is. And so before we dive into how to fix the financial efficiency issues, we have to identify that the problem actually exists, what that problem is, and then we can create a plan to move forward to address that problem. So without further ado, let's just go into this and talk about the problem. So you can see here, one of the things that I talk about, I'm a really big believer that this is the biggest thing, and I put it number 1, is that the biggest problem people have is that their money is not in alignment with their values and beliefs. We're taught to go to school, get a job, invest in a 401k, and the reality is it's not working for people. If you look at the results that people are having in the world right now, they're abysmal. And I'm a big believer of asking why. Why were we taught to go to school, get a job, and invest in a 401k? And the reason for that is because it worked for our parents. I'm 44 years old. I was born in 1980. And if you look at 1980, I'll just do this. I'll pop off to the side here. And if you look at 1980 through 1999, which is this is the time frame where my parents worked their careers and started their careers, started saving for retirement, doing all these different things. This is basically when I was an infant through college, right? So it would lean that during this time, this is my parents taught me about money. Of course, my parents didn't teach me that much about money because my parents weren't very good with money, right? They were not good with money. So I didn't learn a whole lot. However, when we look at it from a top-down perspective of why do people believe what they believe about 401ks, going to school, get a job, doing all these things, and investing in qualified plans, and so on and so forth. The reason is because from 1980, let me go back here, from 1980 to 1999, the average rate of return in the market was about 13.8%, right? And that's insane. When you adjust it for inflation, it's about 9.4%. That's pretty crazy when you think about it, considering the fact that the long-term history before that was about 4% from 1929 to 1979, and the fact that 2001 through 2024 here has been about 5.2%, right? So when we look at these numbers and we look at the fact that I think what's happened is a lot of people are holding on to this 9.4% like this is the expectation. A lot of people will tell you, well, the S&P is going to average 8.1% over the long period of time. And even if you go into dividends, it's a little higher than that if you account for reinvestment of dividends. But the problem is if you take out this period, if you just eliminate 1980 to 1999, which is effectively a bubble, and the reason it's a bubble is because of the fact that we had this situation where interest rates were really high at 19%, right? So interest rates were 19%, and then they went down to 0 in 2009. So from 1980 to 2009, interest rates just went down, down, down. If you know anything about interest rates, what does it do? If this is the economy, and the economy was struggling, as interest rates go down, it stimulates the economy, and the economy goes up. Well, now as interest rates have to then remain flat and go up, what we do and what is successful, what successful strategies are during increasing interest rate environments are completely different than interest rate environments that are going down, right? So we have to make sure that we're always asking the question, why are things happening the way that they're happening? And so, that is the first thing in the problem is like, we need to say, I just question you. And I think a lot of people, there's a great book, Vincent Pacenti wrote it. It's called The Ant and the Elephant. I reference this book all the time. And the idea is the human brain only allows you to put 100% of effort into something that you believe with 100% certainty you have the opportunity of being successful with. And so with that said, I think most people look around and they go, all right, what do I believe about taxes? What do I believe about government debt? What do I believe about inflation? What do I believe about just the geopolitical stability and certainty? Most people are looking around right now being like, I don't really have a lot of faith in a lot of this stuff, but I can't really articulate why I'm not comfortable with it, right? I can't articulate why I'm not sure that, yes, I'm doing money in my 401k, or I'm doing this, or I'm doing that, I'm investing in a Roth, I'm investing in different ways, I'm saving money in different ways, or whatever. Or maybe you're not. Maybe you feel like you're kind of self-sabotaging a little bit, and the question is why? It's because subconsciously, if you don't believe in what you do, and this goes back to what we're not aligning our money with our values and beliefs. You have to get really, really clear about what your values and beliefs are. In my next video, I'm going to talk about how do you do that? How do you create your core values? How do you create a vision? How do you create a mission for your life so you can reverse engineer it and be really intentional about using your money as a tool to create the life that you want to live? That's really what it comes down to. That's what this is all about. And so, but what I just showed you over here, what I just showed you about this graph, this is why you're confused, because you're getting mixed messages, because our parents lived here, right? My parents did, at least. You may be a little bit older, maybe you kind of came in the middle of this, but when the bottom line is we've been dealing with this 20-year window in our head that created this paradigm. But when we look at the before and the after that paradigm, you can see that was like one little moment in time that is like going to be almost virtually impossible to replicate. People are expecting to go back to that time, and people are going, well, the S&P averages 8.1% over time. Well, guess what? If you eliminate that 20-year window out of the S&P 500, it doesn't average 8.1%. If you eliminate that 20-year window, you're looking at just about 4.9% in the S&P from 500 for the long term. And so it's one of those things that you have to look at why, you have to look at the big picture, and you have to understand the moving parts that have led to the results that we've had in the past. And then we can make educated decisions about what we're doing moving forward and think about that. And so this is one of the reasons that I think it's important that we all put ourselves in situations that we are putting ourselves in control of our money, right? And so I mentioned this, we're the big reason number 2 that people are having problems with their money and inefficiencies because you're focusing on the rate of return. You're giving up control of your money. And I said this in the last video, I think, is we're talking about, the new ROR being the rate of result. Let's speed up the desired result in our life. And we're only going to do this by stopping the thought process of accumulating money in a 401k or a Roth IRA or something like that, and starting to think about gaining control, building a financial foundation and a financial structure of stability to create opportunity to invest for cash flow. And we're going to get into that as we go through this course that's going to show you. But you have to understand that the problem is when you give up control to put money in places that are out of alignment with your beliefs, well, then your subconscious is going to self-sabotage. And what Vincent Pacenti in his book, The Ant and the Elephant, is that when you make a conscious decision that you have 4 million neurons a second firing off in your brain. They've scanned people's brains and done this. However, our subconscious mind is actually firing off at about 4 billion neurons a second. And so when we compare the two, it's basically the equivalent of an ant sitting on the head of an elephant thinking it has the ability to steer the elephant. So when we make these conscious decisions like I'm going to go to school, get a job, invest in this 401k because people tell me it's the right thing to do, but your subconscious is like, no, warning, warning, danger, danger. Like, I don't think it's going to work. That's where self-sabotage comes in, right? And so we have to be aware of all this. So the problem is our financial structure, our efficiency, and our control is not in alignment with those values and beliefs. So what we need to do is we need to focus on improving that. We need to focus on the banking function in our life. We need to focus on building that foundation. We need to focus on the cost of capital and how we can control that, because everything we do comes with an opportunity cost. When we save money, there's an opportunity cost for what that could do from an investment. When we invest, there's an opportunity cost on the saving side. Controlling opportunity cost in your life is one of the most important financial efficiency things that you can do. We can't just look at an investment. We can't just look at an expense. We can't look at lifestyle expenses. We can't look at business expenses. We can't look at anything that we do ultimately, and not take into consideration the full picture of opportunity cost and what we're doing from a cash flow perspective that's helping us get to the goals that we want to live. And if I could show you a way that you could kind of have your cake and eat it too, and chase good opportunity, and chase the life that you wanted, and save for the future without sacrificing your current lifestyle today, on a scale of 1 to 10, how interested in that would you be? Well, and that's what this course is all about. So hopefully that makes sense. We've identified the problem in the sense that your greatest problem is not having your money in alignment with your values and beliefs, a lack of control, and not understanding fully opportunity cost in all spectrums of your life. And we're going to show you how to understand it. We're going to show you how to build a financial structure that will not only protect you from the downsides of it, but will position you for the best opportunities to increase your cash flow and achieve your financial goals faster. So hopefully that makes sense. Till next video, have a blessed, inspirational day. We'll see you there.